Tropic update as of 5 a.m. PST, August 31st. An tropical depression 11 has formed in the eastern Pacific. At a well-defined LC, convection is steadily becoming better organized, and it's moving westward. We can show you the first advisory as of earlier this morning. Um, yeah, it's us west of the southern tip of the Baja California has been become better organized. As scouts show a well-defined low level circulation with peak wind near 25 knots. However, given the continued improvement, they went with 35. They went with 30 knots. Even so, hey, I mean, there was some intensity estimates of 35 knots. And I expect next advisory in a few hours will probably make it a tropical storm, at least in my opinion. It's moving at 8 knots at 270, which is directly westward. Steered by the subtropical ridge to the north, this ridge is expected to remain in place throughout the next 5-day period, so it will continue westward. Based on all the models we see, environment will be very favorable with warm sea surface temperature, moist mid-level air, and low vertical shear for at least the next 3, 4, maybe 5 days. But then after, it could get near the 26 isotherm and potentially some dry air. Here's the latest track. It takes it into the Central Pacific by the end of the forecast period, and all models support this idea. Intensity hurricane by maybe 48 hours, but definitely by 72 hours. And intensity has moved closer to Cat 2 and the next 4 to 5 days. I think that's possible. The system looks like it definitely has some potential. Um, well, that's what we have on this system. Now we're going to move on to another system, which is also in the East Pacific, as it's going to form off Mexico in a few days, as 50% in the next 2 days, 80% in the next 7. I want to say something. I think it's more like 70, 90. I mean, this system has a very high chance, but it will not make landfall in Mexico or anywhere. There's 48 hours on the GFS, 96 hours in GFS, 996. CMC also shows it developing 4 days. Icon shows it developing. ECMWF shows it developing. Yeah, oh yeah. I think 60-70% is pretty likely. I mean, it's definitely getting up there in its development chances. Models actually make it pretty strong for far north it is. I mean, CMC at 120, GFS at 120, 968. Jesus, even a hurricane, a hurricane off the Baja California. If you believe in the GFS, I mean, yeah. Well, anyways, that's what we have on this system. Next, we're going to look at the Atlantic, which we have one system that's going to urging off Africa as 50% at 7 days. I disagree with this. I'm going to give it a 60% at 7 days because you have a pretty good amount of support for development of this system. Here's GFS at 96 hours. Let's go to 126, 1005. And this trend has remained steady. ECMWF, let's look at Icon, boom, 1006, CMC, 1006, 144, yeah. ECMWF. Let's go to 168, 1011, GFS, 986. Wow. GFS really loves this system. 186. Definitely getting stronger, but starting to plow through the ridge. As you can see, ECNWF, 2010, definitely more westward, not plowing for the ridge, uh, which I don't really expect it to do. I actually respect the more westerly tracks. CMC, now let's go to 222. Yeah, about 1952, at that period. While the GFS has it vastly further north. Yeah. Here's the enablers. Here's the ECENS, ZLZ. Definitely form pretty good consensus for formation. Uh, Here's the GEFS at 156 hours. You also have this other system that is forming off the east coast that is extratropical that I'm remaining at 10% on. It still looks decent. It still has convection, but in fact, no one probably will not become tropical. But so, something that is shown in the models continuously. Well, that's what we have for today. Let's see if we can make this go out a little bit longer. Yeah, up to 192. We got pretty good consensus in GEFS. First information. That's your traffic update.